Story 1. My grandma has been teaching me her old family recipes over FaceTime every Sunday. She is 82 and terrible with technology. But watching her squint at the camera and get excited when my dishes turn out right is the highlight of my week. Story 2. It may seem insignificant, but the fact that I haven't had any random traumatic deaths in my family in the past 3 years really means a lot to me. I lost my father-in-law, my first pregnancy, and my dog of 15 years all within 2 years of each other. So, I'm extremely happy that everyone I love is alive and doing well. Story 3. Bought a house a few months ago. It was a long-term goal I never thought I would achieve. I feel like I just sit around smiling anytime I think about it. Story 4. We are getting a heat pump and solar panels. Already mortgage-free. Our only bills will be broadband, water, and council tax. A small electric bill in the winter maybe. Carbon footprint almost zero. Story 5. I met the man of my dreams, and he wants to get married. It's less about marriage and more about the fact that, at age 45, I finally found someone who reciprocates my love and commitment. Looks like we'll be getting married in the midst of a fascist regime, but I'm glad I found him. Story 6. I finally convinced my husband we need another kitty to keep our other one company. We are going to look at the local shelters this weekend, and I can't stop thinking about it. Story 7. I am still unemployed, so for the past couple of days, I have removed the English ivy from approximately 35 trees in the suburban floodplain behind my house. Lots of walkers said thank you, and this morning I noticed that someone on the other side of the creek had saved another 10 or more trees. I am sore but so happy. Story 8. Personally, getting married this year and have my life somewhat together finally. Also happy the Buffalo Bills didn't make the Super Bowl since I'm a New York Jets fan. Communally, movies. Regular movie output is occurring again where there are 1 to 2 movies being released each week. Double features are becoming a thing again for me, and I genuinely think the quality of films has gone up post-COVID. Story 9. I'm sober from hard drugs, happily divorced, and going to college for baking. It was kind of funny because the other day I baked something for one of my classes, and every time I peeked over, I saw Chef eating another slice. It was a cinnamon coffee cake. Story 10. My dog slept in my lap today. I have no plans for Saturday, so I'll get some much-needed sleep. I didn't fail any of my classes this past semester. Mom was still disappointed, but it is a miracle how I passed while being so horribly depressed all last year. I am proud. I know I try my best. Story 11. I completely stopped being active when the pandemic started and just never really felt motivated to start again. Plus, it's frustrating not being able to do things you used to easily before as a young, fit person. I finally got the motivation to join my local recreation center and have been doing aquatic fitness with the grandmothers. It's fun and perfect for my poor shoulders and hips that are messed up from desk work. Story 12. I finally finished my bachelor's degree about 20 years after I started and went ahead and got my master's too. I wish I could enjoy the moment more. Story 13. Not a lot. I live day to day, but I know life is precious, and I am grateful for every day given to me, especially since I was declared cancer-free in May 2020 from breast cancer with lymph node involvement. I've suffered from depression since November 2015. I consider myself a broken person. I tried to heal, but I keep having bad things happen in my life through no fault of my own. Now I just try to survive. I also try to be extra kind to people because I know what suffering is like. I haven't had a vacation since May 2015, and I do not think I will ever afford one again, so I cannot look forward to one of those. I hope to be a grandmother one day, but there are no signs of that. So, I just exist and weather the things mostly medical that come at me. Story 14. My dad had congestive heart failure and was hospitalized in November. He wasn't healthy enough for surgery at the time, then had a heart attack just after the holidays and was hospitalized again. 2 weeks ago, he had a quadruple bypass and is home now recovering well. I really didn't think it was going to work out as well as it has. Story 15. A month ago, I left an abusive relationship. I have since sold a car and a motorbike I had been trying to sell for a while, within a week of each other. The guy who bought the car ended up becoming a friend and fixing my other car, helping me out massively, and still is. I got a job. I've been more consistent with the gym. I've got my confidence back. I got new tattoos for the first time in months. I'm finally about to move house after trying to get out of this one for years. I reconnected with an old friend. My friendships are flourishing because I now have the time and headspace to nurture them properly again. I like to think the world is rewarding me for choosing the right path and choosing myself. Life just keeps on getting better since I finally learned the lesson and left. Story 16. I passed my sterile processing board exams. My wife and children are healthy and happy. I have a roof over my head and food in my belly. Things can't get much better than that. Story 17. I have lost 27 pounds since I started exercising and following the Mediterranean diet, and I am feeling better about my body than I have in the last decade since I had my first child. I still have about 23 pounds until I reach my goal weight, but I am working on it. Story 18. My children are mostly happy. I have a few vacations coming up. Arizona to visit family and Florida to Disney. If you're really depressed, do what you can to have something to look forward to. If you can afford a vacation, or maybe it's an event like a concert, movie, or sporting event. When I don't have something to look forward to, I tend to not be as excited about the future. Story 19. I almost gave in to temptation last night and bought weed even though I quit 2 years ago because I'm an addict to seriously everything I ever try. I have been so stressed about world events. I was driving to the dispensary, but I called my dad and ratted myself out, and he told me he's also stressed, but talking for 20 minutes with him helped so much. So, I went home with no weed and made myself a giant veggie stir-fry instead. I'm always happy when I avoid temptation and don't let people ruin my mental health. Story 20. I am glad I am in a position in life and have a job where I can drop everything and go get my sick child, call off work the next day, and have people checking in on us immediately after I left. I have not had a village in so long, and it is an amazing feeling. I also have a personal relationship that is rapidly deteriorating, and as hard as it is, I know in the long run it is for the best. Story 21. I am recovering from a surgery. My back is feeling okay after a broken back too. I'm getting out, walking around, taking the dog for a walk. I am still alive. Story 22. I'm relearning high school math after a decade. It used to bring me a lot of anxiety because of grades. Now that I'm doing it for me, it's actually interesting. I'm also learning a new language. Story 23. My boyfriend is on a journey to improve his health. He is losing weight, quitting smoking, working out, quitting drinking, and setting boundaries with people. I am so proud of him. I love him so much. Story 24. I'm back near the Appalachians of North Carolina after leaving Texas. This time I've got a husband with me, and the ability to experience 4 definitive seasons that aren't just iterations of summer with an ice storm thrown in is amazing. Currently, I'm watching the trees beginning to wake up again with little buds on the edges of the branches that will eventually turn into leaves. The sky is also very blue out here and not gray like it was in the areas I lived in, out in Texas. I'm also enamored with the prodigious number and variety of plants and animals. I also adore the fact that I can see the mountains from around my new town as well as from my office when I have to go in. I also made a little terrarium with some mosses and lichen I found around my yard recently. It's been almost a week, and nothing is molding or dying yet, so it's a success so far. Story 25. I have been trying to get a doctor's appointment to get my antidepressants refilled. My appointment got moved up to tomorrow, 2.5 weeks ahead of when I scheduled it, and I don't have to call out of work now because we have a snow day tomorrow. Wish me luck that I can get my medication back, as it's been a very tough few months full of headaches, but at least I'm taking the first step. Story 26. Currently in escrow on my first home with a closing date of February 28th. Just waiting for the appraisal to come back and then we are gold. It's been a long time, and I'm so pumped, but also terrified and very worried that something will happen between now and closing, but I'm trying to stay positive. Also, my daughter was super sick this time last year with massive ovarian tumors. Luckily no cancer, but it was a pretty traumatic emergency surgery. She is healthy as an ox, working hard, and goes to the gym 2 to 3 times a week with a new awesome boyfriend. Oh, and I just passed my 10-year work anniversary. So yeah, a lot to be grateful for right now. Story 27. My mom was hit at a crosswalk last Friday evening. The driver was completely at fault. She is okay but suffered a partially collapsed lung, brain bleed, and a broken clavicle. Due to unmedicated mental illness, she decided she was well enough to go home and self-heal. I have been in a heavy mood because of all the chaos this has caused for the rest of my family and my own headspace. Today, my office manager started bragging to a project manager that I was the best at what I do within the company. I am the entire accounts payable department. After some mentally challenging days, her words truly helped to make a difficult day easier to handle. I am now cuddled with my cats on the couch, enjoying hot soup and smiling. Story 28. I was robbed of my keys and wallet at the gym from my locked locker and managed to get most of it all back. The high I felt from figuring it all out and getting my things was like the glory of Rome. Story 29. I placed one foot in front of the other. Today it rained and I did not have to use the water that I pay for to water my yard. And it's not too cold outside. The wind is not blowing. I am making progress with an important negotiation in my life, and I'm not entirely broke at the moment. Tomorrow may be different. But today is today, and we take things one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Story 30. Seeing the little things my grandpa does for my grandma. They are still very much in love and about to celebrate their 60-year wedding anniversary. He is writing down recipes he has developed over the years. I recently found out he has been coming up with things to cook based on my grandma's favorite foods and adjusting the portions to be just enough for two. Story 31. As a photographer, I am looking forward to photographing the upcoming lunar eclipse in March. And if I pull this off, it will be the first time, to my knowledge, that anyone has captured an image of the lunar eclipse in this manner. So excited, happy, and anticipatory at the same time. Story 32. My 2-year-old, in all his glory. He's hilarious and challenging and just so smart, all in one. I'm so lucky to be his mama. I love him more than anything. Story 33. Nothing out of the ordinary for me. My wife is my best friend. I love my pups. I've got a roof over my head and I eat 3 meals a day. Life is good. I live in gratitude. Story 34. We rescued 2 abused sulcata tortoises. Both were kept in a small enclosure they couldn't even move around in. They were in super rough shape and scared of everything. We built them a large outdoor enclosure. And after a couple of months, they look so much better and even run to us when we go out to see them. Story 35. I have a dedicated and hardworking husband who is ready to step it up even further if I happen to lose my government job, and a cool, amazing kid. I'm grateful for life in general, even if everything I've worked so hard for is on the brink of not existing. Story 36. Dating a new girl. She is sexy. She is fun. The chemistry is off the charts. The sex is off the charts. I do believe, fingers crossed, I am at the beginning of falling in love with someone truly special, and it feels addictively good. Story 37. I'm at least able to afford some things I want, and they're not beyond what I need right now. Granted, it's due to certain circumstances, but all the same, at least I have a roof, good meals, and I'm not stuck in a terrible relationship with family, friends, or a dating partner. Still single, but hey, at least I'm not in a toxic relationship, is what I mean. Life could still be worse, and even if it could also be better, I'm glad it's better than where it could be. Story 38. I just discovered Errol Flynn movies. Adventures of Robin Hood, Captain Blood, Seahawk, Dodge City, Virginia City, and the Dawn Patrol. Peak entertainment. Story 39. Everything. My company is doing well. My wife's healthcare job is going great. 15 acres of land, 6 adopted cats, a nice house, and 4 grown sons and daughters-in-law. Grandchildren are healthy, and vehicles are sound. Investments are doing well. Work hard and long when you are young, and it can go well. Story 40. My wife and kids are generally amazing. One child, who is 9 years old, makes up creative and funny jokes. Another child, who is 17, is an impressive musician. I adore the others like nothing else, but those two I mentioned are recent highlights. Story 41. I am living my dream life with my soulmate and best friend, with a sweet baby girl on the way. The world will always have some challenges going on. I choose to focus on my peace and fulfillment. I recognize the privilege I have to choose this. I love my life. Story 42. My best friend just bought a house less than 10 minutes up the road from us. My husband and I just consolidated all of our debt, and it feels so much more manageable. I love my job. My kids are so darn cute, healthy, and happy. I have no significant sickness in my family right now. I've managed to figure out a sustainable workout routine. Life is so happy right now as long as I don't think about the stressful stuff. Thanks for this post. Story 43. I put together a weekend trip with some friends to the mountains. All we are going to do is cook our best meals for each other, drink really expensive alcohol, and walk in nature. Story 44. Just started a brand new Dungeons and Dragons campaign this week with the group I have played with for years. Fresh story, fresh characters, old friends. Nothing like it. Story 45. I really love the food I am cooking right now, and it is more repetitive than other things I have cooked in the past. I am overcoming my eating disorder. Story 46. My teenage daughter had a hard time finding her people after our cross-country move. A few weeks ago, I encouraged her to volunteer to do tech for her sister's school play, and she has slowly warmed up to it after a reluctant start. Yesterday, she came home vibrating with excitement because she has been promoted to stage manager, and the director has invited her to help out with community theater as well. I have never seen her this excited about anything, and my mama heart is so happy.